to talk about what he saw in the Nets win over the Bucks. And Timmy, after 2 games with James Harden, offense meshes nice. How is it that it meshes so nice with this team?
Yeah, well, first, it's seamless with Harden and Durant because Durant scores so easily and efficiently. He doesn't really get his flow interrupted by James Harden. So now you've got 2 of the best offensive players in NBA history. And Harden, his ability to control the basketball and draw multiple guys to him and his passing ability out of that, John, is really just going to make this team almost unguardable at times. And we'll take a look at some examples from this one. You know, the way that he can get defenses to overcommit to him is special. And this is a perfect example. 2 guards, that should just be a switch on that ball screen. But because it's Harden, you get 2 guys miscommunicate. They linger a little bit longer than they normally would. Joe Harris just runs to an open spot for an easy shot. Here in transition, 4 white shirts, all eyes on Harden, flow to that side of the floor, and you forget about a guy like Kevin Durant's easiest basket he's going to get maybe all season, and then he wins one-on-one matchups. This is Jrue Holiday, one of the best defensive guards in the league. Can't keep him in front. He gets to the backline defender, Bobby Portis, and now it's an easy dunk for DeAndre Jordan. Just his ability to be able to control possessions. It's unlike any other player in the league. Now in Houston, it was really him every trip. And then you put 4 3-point shooters around him. This is a little bit different now because he draws guys, and when that ball gets swung and now it ends up in the hands of Kevin Durant against a rotating defense or guys closing out and their space, forget it. It's impossible to stop them. So I'm just really impressed 2 games in to how easily these 2 guys have meshed together, and the impact of James Harden is undeniable. The guy's just simply one of the best offensive players at creating offense this league has ever seen, and Brooklyn's now seen it for their first 2 games with him.
All right, I've been reviewing the rules. You got KD and you have Harden. You add Kyrie, that's 3. You get 5. I think this is the Joe Harris question, right? How do you fit in the new look Nets rotation if you're not one of those big 3?
I texted a buddy tonight, how much would I like to be Joe Harris right now? The guy's not going to take a contested shot all season. It's amazing to be him and living in that world because he's got one of the best strokes in the league already, and now he's in a situation where there's just not enough defenders to find him. If he just stays active, he's going to get all the looks he wants. DeAndre Jordan is a perfect fit at center also with his ability to screen and dive, and even like a guy like Jeff Green who can play some power forward for you defensively and take some of the pressure off of KD, but then can step out and space the floor with his 3-point shooting. So I think they've got perfect complementary parts around these 2 guys. Here's the problem. It's not just these 2 guys. You're going to be incorporating Kyrie Irving into the mix, John, and I just don't know, watching that game tonight, how that is possible to incorporate a guy that dribbles the ball that much, that's that dribble dominant. And now you're going to start to affect this flow that I'm talking about that they've had for 2 games, because I think the pieces that they have around these 2 stars are perfect to the point where you could say, I see that team getting to the finals, maybe even winning a championship. When you add Kyrie to the mix, I think it becomes a little bit more muddled. It remains to be seen, but right now it's hard to imagine.
You had us all, and then you had to end on a downer, Tim Legler. All right, very good. We appreciate it, man. Listen, if Joe Harris is going to shoot 60% from 3, you'd shoot 80 on that team. Thanks.
Oh, my goodness.
Nets are going to win at 125-123 as that thing rims out. Durant 39 and 6, Harden 34 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds. So they've scored or assisted on 84% of the Nets' points in their first 2 games together in Brooklyn. 208 out of 247, both victories, and they've picked it up in the 4th quarter in both wins. The pair has scored or assisted on 61 of the Nets' 69 fourth-quarter points. As you'd expect, Steve Nash, good coaching, get it to your best players. Harden now in his 2nd partnership go-around with KD.
We were young in Oklahoma City. You know, we're grown men now. You know what we want. We really know the game of basketball now. You know, we're not those young guys that just run around and want to just shoot and dunk all day. We know the games. We know spots. We know, teams plays. We're more advanced. And then for me, as I sit back, I know what type of player Kevin Durant is. He's one of the best players that ever touched a basketball. As God-given, 7 foot, can basically do everything. So for me, it's not trying to compete with that. It's allowing Kevin to be the best Kevin he can be, and I'm going to make sure that I can make him better and then make my teammates better, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
I feel as though like you said, we've been in the league for James' 12th year, my 14th season. So we pretty much seen every defense, every offensive scheme. We done been in every type of game, playoffs, game sevens, you know. So we done been through a lot in this league, experienced a lot. And for us to bring it together now and combine what we've learned over this time and try to play great basketball, I think it was pretty seamless for us. You know, it was an easy transition, especially with James, you know, handling the ball a lot coming in. So we still trying to, you know, find our way, and, you know, we still got room to improve, but it's a solid start.
Dale joining us now to talk more about James Harden's debut. Listen, David, a lot of people were having fun online talking about what kind of shape he might be in. The memes were good, okay? We got to say that. The memes were really good. However, he looked just fine. He looked better than fine. He had a triple-double. What were your takeaways from this contest?
Well, that was the first one. The guy walked in the gym with a new team who already has stars and expectations and studs and got a triple-double. He handled the ball most of the time down the stretch and made all of the big decisions. They played a two-man game with he and KD. He looked comfortable. The team looked comfortable, and that was what really stood out. It looked like they had been playing together for multiple games already.
And you talk about down the stretch there where he had that ball. When Kyrie Irving comes back in the mix, I mean, these guys all have to learn how to play together, but when Kyrie comes back, another ball-dominant guy, how do you see that working out?
I think the biggest thing is going to be time of possession. Can they just limit the dribbles a little bit? They still have to be who they are. Attack, you know, make plays off the dribble, break people down off the dribble, but can they shorten it 1 or 2 seconds? That really stood out to me with James tonight. You didn't see him overdance tonight. When he didn't have it, he made a play that got off of it, especially the one late where he scooped it to KD. He saw KD had Vucevic on him. KD drove it, kicked it to Brown in the corner, big trust play, and he hit the shot, knocked it down, and I think that's going to be something they have to bottle up.
Well, KD and Harden combining for 74 points in this game. You add Kyrie in the mix. These guys could be going for 100. That trio on a nightly basis. It is going to be a fascinating experiment to watch, my man. Scary for other teams. Thank you, David.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to dubious. The Nets win 122-115.
It felt unbelievable. I mean, I hope you can tell by my smile and my play. Whoever has a hot hand, that's who deserves the ball. You know, the basketball finds energy. It finds people that have good energy, good spirit. So that's what I try to bring to the game tonight. I'm so excited for Kai to get back. You know, he's a key piece to what we're trying to do, and you know, the chemistry. As soon as we can build that, as soon as we can be on the court together, it's going to be scary hours.
Hey, man, it was scary here. It was historic. Most points scored and assisted in a team debut in NBA history. Just last season, Kyrie Irving created 67 points, 50 of which he scored in his debut with the Nets. Harden scored or assisted on 64 points in his debut with the Rockets back in 2012. He had 37 points, 12 assists in a win against the Pistons. And then in his Nets debut, Harden scored or assisted on 63 points, third most all time. He becomes the first player in NBA history with a 30-point triple-double in his debut with the team. Our research, it's better than yours. David Fizdale suiting up for us. And, Coach, James Harden looked great. It's one game. It's -1 head of the big three. So what can we take away from it?
He looked pretty good. I don't have any questions about his conditioning, I'll tell you that. But I thought that was a close game for the most part. But I like how Steve Nash put the ball in his hands and had KD running in the pick and rolls with him and letting him do what he does, and that's make other people better and at the same time kill you if you forget about him, and he did that. So that really stood out to me.
One play really stood out as well towards the end. What was it, and why should we file it away?
Very important play for a guy to walk onto a team and they're already recognizing these things and making these plays. But James Harden had the ball in an isolation situation with the clock running down, and he could have taken a step back three or done something like that. But instead, he underhand scooped it to KD because he saw KD had a great matchup against Vucevic. But KD, seeing that the help came off the corner shooter, hit the guard Brown right in his shooting pocket, and he knocked down that shot. All of those plays say that this team is going to work on trusting each other. And if they can trust each other with the amount of talent that they can put on the floor, man, they could end up being champions.
Okay, I'm going to give you two teams. They're fully healthy. They got their full complement of players. I want you to pick me a winner. The Nets against the Heat.
Nets.
Nets against the Celtics.
Nets.
Nets against the 76ers.
Nets.
Nets against the Bucks.